So paint us a picture of what kind of millennial are you? Seriously, here, Christian. I'm joking. Millennials get a lot of crap, man. So many articles, how many industries they've destroyed, how much crap comes at you as your generation.
Well,
like,
that's
you're
the other
problems.
and that's the other interesting part is that the shadow, what we repress, other people can see. It's the part of myself that I can't see, but others see it. So it comes out in this judgment about the generations, the slacker, and this idea that to myself, I'm competent, I'm capable. But as a millennial, we get the same, we get the kind of entitled sort of frame. We get all of the negative judgments of the vision casting that our parents, typically baby boomers, have done for us, and we're trying to carry out some of those wishes, not doing it so well because the systems are different and it's not working in our favor. But we have this desire to fulfill almost the shadow of the baby boomer generation, which means that as a millennial, we put forth a more social focus or socialism. And that typically means tamping ourselves down, making ourselves less than, and often being non-committal, often bringing this frame of we're all equal, or everyone deserves a little piece of the pie, and we have to make sure that everyone's taken care of, and no single person can stand out. If anything, having a single person stand out is dangerous. And I talked about the impetus for this entire idea was me personally experiencing a couple of people in my personal life that came in and they asserted their entitlement and their authority and their vision and what they wanted. And it made me feel like these people are dangerous. They're trying to manipulate everyone. They're trying to forge everyone into their specific direction. But that's kind of the underbelly of millennials. We want everything to go the way that we want, but we're not owning it. And I believe that because of this, you can already notice a pattern that I think boomers and millennials are very much shadows of each other. And there's a lot of triggering that happens there. We blame boomers a lot for our circumstance, right? We were trying to go the visionary path of what boomers were casting for us, go to college, get a good job, do the things that you're supposed to do. But almost at every turn, it was a situation in which it didn't pan out. Yeah. We were very good at following the orders, but the orders didn't lead us anywhere.
So can you clarify something for me here? Because I get it. I get your parents' generation.
Yep.
Boomers have a prophetic word and they say this, and we talked about last episode on boomers almost want you to come into the system that they know to be able to do the work.
Yep.
And they say to millennial children, come into this system, operate this system. You're going to have all the great results. And millennials went, great, awesome. So they went to school, they got good grades, they went to college, they studied hard, they did whatever they needed to do to enter this world that boomers said was in front of them. And then what I hear from a lot of millennials in their 20s and 30s is they get there and they go, wait, this isn't the world I was promised. This is radically different system than you suggested it was. Us Xers are like, yeah, no, duh. You can never trust the system, we say to ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we look at millennials and go, yeah, welcome to the real world.
Right.
And we're like, that'll teach them, right? Millennials will, a year or two of that, they'll get their heads on straight and they're going to realize that you can't trust the system. It's not the same world that our parents grew up in the 1960s and 70s. So game over. Like they're just going to mature. They're going to realize that. And then life's going to go on in a great way. And yet I'm looking around from my perspective as a Gen Xer, looking at millennials going, they're not getting the memo. They keep doubling down on a system that's broken and not working. And they complain about it because they know it's not working. And yet they keep doing the same. What's that definition of insanity? Keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. And I would classify as bitching about it. And I'm like, what? Gen Xers, I guess we bitched about it too, but we also got to work and started hacking it together and making what we wanted. So
we bitch about it and abandon it.
Yeah. So explain to me what's going on there. Why is the realization like, oh, the system isn't working, I'm going to keep doubling down on something that's broken? What is the ethos of just keep banging your head against the wall? Do you have a sense of that?
It feels dangerous to trust our own inner authority. It feels dangerous to trust our choice to say this isn't working, so we need to go do something else on an individual level. Whereas there might be a lot of complaining and trying to champion a new way and a new system, but it's still kind of an outsourcing of championing somebody else doing it.
So if somebody tells your generation there's systemic problems, now you're going to listen. You're going to be more interested.
Yeah.
Because you're focused on systemic things anyway.
Generally speaking, yeah.
So in a general way, somebody says, oh, there's these systemic challenges, which there are literal systemic challenges. That's why I don't trust the system because of the systemic challenges.
We're towards the end of a saculum.
Yeah.
It's a transition. A lot of things are not the way that they used to be. And so it was really interesting to think about this parallel between the millennial path and the boomer path, where the boomer was born in spring and then in summer they get to reap all the benefits. We're born in an abundance time period of harvest in the fall, but then we go into winter, and no one really knows winter is coming necessarily.
Yeah.
Like there's no preparation for that. So we become young adults and suddenly we're like, where is everything? Like we were promised a bunch of stuff. So there is there's this underbelly of entitlement or of authority, of like, I deserve what's coming because it worked out when I was a kid. I got everything I wanted when I was really little, but now I move on to the next stage of my life and now I have to work for everything. Like it's kind of a weird miscommunication, I should say. It's a misexpectation. And it's a challenge. I know it's difficult to understand from a Gen X perspective because there's a consistency in a way. But there's an inconsistency with the millennial narrative that is making it hard to adjust with the programming that we received.
Do you feel betrayed, deceived, or do you feel punished? Well, I mean, in general, what do you think most millennials are experiencing?
I think there's a deception.
They feel tricked.
Yeah, they feel tricked. And I think
misled.
with the deception, I mean, the word victim, one of the definitions is deception. And I think a lot of millennials lean into the victim narrative. Like I didn't get what I was promised, so I deserve, to get what I wanted anyway without having to do the same kind of work. Now it's tricky to talk about this because it's got to be very triggering to my fellow millennial brethren. I'm not saying millennials don't work hard, because we work very hard, but we work in very specific ways that rely on external systems. We work very much on existing platforms and apps and interconnecting things really well. It's not the same kind of Gen X cobble things together to make it work, but it's more like band community together to try to make things happen because we all have a little bit of something that can make something work. When really, if we were able to tap into more of the inner authority and being able to go take opportunity to speak what we personally want into the world, almost own a part of the visionary aspect, then we could really start to make a bigger change, if that makes sense.
Yeah.